Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. I hope you're well. Won't you pull you up a chair and set a spell while we sit and talk about the ghostly clowns walking the streets of Appalachia? In a little town in Georgia called Columbus, there are reports of seeing clowns riding small tricycles down the street, disappearing as you approach. Also, clowns walking through the local cemetery, and even a couple riding the Ferris wheel at the fall festival. And lastly, a burned torso floating down the local creek, disappearing as it gets close to you. And finally, a weeping clown seen near Twin Chapel Creek Bridge. Now, you may ask, why would there be clowns walking through the streets of Appalachia? Well, guys, let's travel way back in time to 1915, where it all begins. The Con T. Kennedy Traveling Circus was a sight to behold. It was one of the largest shows traveling in the Southeast. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, performing for the largest crowd in the show's history. The show, well, it was a knockout. 3 days before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 1915, the show packed up to travel to its next destination, Girard, Alabama, which is present-day Phoenix City, for the grand opening of the Dillingham Street Bridge. The circus train departed Atlanta, heading toward Columbus. But at the same time, in Macon, Georgia, a passenger train began loading passengers. When the train was loaded and departed the station master instructed the Macon train to wait in the nearby Muskogee Junction for the circus train from Atlanta to pass, then proceed to its destination. But somehow, those instructions were not followed, whether by accident, by the departing times being wrong, or the message never actually being relayed is not known. The Macon train continued past the Muskogee Junction, 6.5 miles east of Columbus. The two trains hit head-on at 30 miles an hour. The citizens aboard the Central of Georgia passenger train were not harmed. The streetcar took the grunt of the impact because of the steel structure of the car. The circus train was not so lucky. The cars were made of wood. The cars crushed one after another inside the engine. The engine's fire erupted the wooden cars into a vengeful fire, consuming each car. The fire intensified as the oil used to waterproof the circus tent exploded. So many were trapped in the crushed cars as the fire spread throughout the wreckage. The total number that lost their lives that day is not known. The newspapers put it at 24 and then changed it to 15. Later, Con T. Kennedy placed the number at 18. But the problem was there were some workers not recorded in the circus ledgers. They were paid under the table, as we say today. One strange thing, though, no women were reported to pass. But the torso of a woman was found in the nearby creek. She had to be one of the unrecorded workers, or even a common thing, a woman disguised as a man to work. 2 circus cars full of animals were lost in the fire as well. All the bodies, the ashes, The burnt train remains were buried in a mass grave in the nearby Riverdale Cemetery. The memorial service was held at the First Baptist Church. 1 year later, Con T. Kennedy commissioned a monument to be built and placed on the site of the mass grave. The monument is the most visited site in the Riverdale Cemetery, and it looks like a circus tent. This is why so many circus folks are seen around Columbus today. Do you believe this is why there are so many stories, or are they just made up? I guess we'll all have to visit to see for ourselves. Well, folks, I want to thank you for sitting and listening to the tragic tale of the train wreck in Columbus, and also about the stories of the spirits of those clowns walking around the town. I'd like to thank you for listening. We love you to pieces, and we'll see you next time.